Hello, everybody. Welcome to the last call. I am Punk Rock Ian. That's Gabe.
Hi.
Hey, hope everybody is doing well. Welcome to 2023. We've arrived. Um, Once we hit 2020, I started realizing that we are living in the supposed Mega Man years. I ain't seen one damn robot yet.
That's a damn shame.
It is.
That's a real myth.
I mean, there's the one that can kind of break dance, and then I think Japan has some fuck bots, but
They got the robot dog, so that's kind of like Mega Man X.
Mm, what happened to that? There was that show on Comedy Central a long time ago where the robot people would build robots and have them fight.
Robot Wars.
Some,
Robot Wars.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I just tried to say Robo Wars and Robot Wars at the same time, and you can't do that.
But yeah. But welcome everybody. Sorry that there was no show last week. It It finally caught me, the fucking bug, the winter bug. I get it every year. Um, Thankfully, no like dying and puking like last year. That was awful. Just like a really, really bad cold, kind of like sinus infection. Still not fun, but compared to last year, I'm like, I can do this all day.
Total walk in the park in terms of being sick.
Yeah, yeah. But today was my first day getting back into the swing. Kids went back to school today, so had to go pick them up, do some driving, go out in public, which I despise. How'd you fare on New Year's, sir?
Uh, Actually pretty good. Watched both Knives Out movies, uh, which I enjoyed, by the way. Um, After midnight, cannot remember what we put on. I think it was License to Kill. Yeah, we watched License to Kill because we had been talking about watching it for a few days, and finally we put it on. I passed out early because it was already like 2 a.m. And then New Year's Day was my second Christmas I had to go to because we celebrate outside the normal business hours. That's fine, and yeah, that's been about the extent of how 2023 started for me. Thankfully, avoided the sick though. I just tore my meniscus in my left knee.
I mean, it's very rare. I think the older you get to have a flawless winter season. I mean, it just gets harder and harder.
I was
Speaking
2 days out.
speaking of multiple Christmases, man, coming from someone my parents like got divorced when I was in like second or third grade, somewhere in there. But so from there, I've always had two of every holiday. And then of course, you got to go see extended family. So you're seeing two sets of extended family. So like one holiday season, you can go 8, 9 fucking Christmases real quick. um Thankfully, I stopped that shit. That that's
One and done.
probably that's probably going to be my lasting legacy on my family line is the stoppage of all normal traditions. We
That's
were
fair.
all Everybody was having a good time until I showed up. And I was just like, nope, no, staying inside. Fuck y'all.
We're not doing this 9 times.
Yeah, no.
We're getting this out of the way once and calling it a year.
Walking around with 90 pairs of socks. Fuck that. I need a wheelbarrow.
But then you can get to the point because socks just go disappearing. You can just have a pair for every day.
I'd start using them as like handkerchiefs and fucking napkins. It's just throwing them in the trash. One use socks.
It's perfect. You know what? Then you don't have to feel bad about regifting because you really did get everything out of your pairs of socks.
That one pair of socks you got me, man. It's the napkin with this really good chicken sandwich I had. There's a lot of grease on it. Anyway, um, so coming with the new year, we're gonna be doing some new things. Not all at once, of course. We're only human. But and we're inebriated half the time anyway.
Yeah.
um as far as the shows go, they ain't going anywhere. We're still gonna do this. Although, I think it's gonna be remaining just us kind of bullshitting, talking to topics, and just having a good time, whatever the people want to talk about. Gonna stick to the movie reviews when it comes to those. We're gonna actually start doing videos, like actually start doing it.
Yes.
Oh shit! Hey yo,
Hey, yo.
Barrow. Thank
After
you, sir.
19 months.
Hello, hello.
Welcome
Hope you-
back.
Hope you are having a good night, sir.
And a good 2023.
First one of the year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sparrow's off to a good start.
We're
off to
doing
a
good,
start.
sir.
Yeah, not too
Oh,
bad.
But as our movie reviews go, like I said, we're gonna do dedicated videos to them now. That way we can add some clips, images, actually make it a fuller experience, if you will. I don't think we want to announce what the first one is yet because it's kind of special. When people
Yeah.
see it, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, of course, this is the first one."
Yeah, nah, we're not gonna tread on that one yet.
Yeah,
Just
but
because
it's a
it's
show
gonna make
favorite
sense.
though. It's a show favorite.
And then we got some weird shit after that.
But that's the plan going forward. Those are the only changes so far that we're kind of maintaining to as of right now. But just wanted to make that announcement known. But also too big 2023, it was so far off to a good start for most of us. Not everybody. Goddamn Jeremy Renner getting run over by his own snow plow.
Crazy.
I think they said he was helping somebody too, like somebody he didn't know. Like they were like stranded in their car or something like that, so he was getting the snow out of the way so they could get out of their car.
What's that thing about no good deed?
Yeah,
Jesus.
being a real superhero, and he fucking got his leg run over, his chest collapsed, and he fucking lost a lot of blood. But he posted a picture. He's okay, I guess. Like he's alive.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad that the first entry in our in memoriam section is not going to be fucking Jeremy Renner. That would fucking suck. But then whatchamacallit, then the one another one that everybody's been talking about, fucking NFL, fucking Buffalo Bills dude, fucking shit, wrote down his name. DeMar was it DeMar?
Yeah. I had it pulled up as well.
Mm-hmm. But I wasn't watching the game because my fantasy season has just gone all to shit weeks ago.
Same.
So I just haven't been watching football. But I heard about that happening and I immediately checked it out and it was fucking crazy. Now, I was watching some guy, I don't know who, some guy on the YouTubes. So he's, certified. And he was but I think he was like claiming to be some sort of medical aficionado or professional. I'm not sure. But he was breaking down this scenario of what he thought might have happened to that guy. And if it is in fact this, which it's possible, but I don't fucking know. So like an entire like singular heartbeat cycle, there's like a small little moment in that cycle towards the end of it that like you'd have to have an amount of pressure hit your chest like to the millisecond of like at just perfect timing, and what happened to him can happen. And it's crazy because you're like, oh man, that's like a 1 in a million shot. But then think about how many games of football have been played and how many, like, just in a singular play, like, just think of everybody on the defense, like every play. And we ain't seen that happen yet.
It's kind of horrifying to think about. I mean, with how often they hit too, and you're thinking about, I forget how many players. It's 11 players, right? Jesus. You've got 11 players going up against each other on the field, and how many games each on Sunday? That's kind of crazy that it hasn't happened yet. But
exactly, you would think that it would have happened.
Jesus.
Like that's like a crazy, weird Russian roulette.
Yeah.
And I wonder if like it could like. I mean, I'd have to watch the replay again because, I mean, he definitely did get tackled in the chest, but he kind of, it's kind of like Kennedy, back and to the left. But I'm thinking about even during practice, when like there's those padded dummies that they charge at for practice.
Yeah, the sled.
Yeah, I'm like, couldn't that just as well? You get an overzealous guy just going at it one time.
Oh God, I didn't even think of that. Shit. So either the probability is more than 1 in a million, or they've just been really lucky so far.
Right, exactly. See, that's the point though. Because you couldn't. It would be. You're absolutely right. It would be completely ridiculous to build a rule around that. It would fundamentally destroy the game.
Yeah.
So, if this guy's theory is correct, and that can happen, and that's what happened, then if that can be proven, like maybe you just don't have football. or you have to sign some crazy waivers, and the economics and the morals of the game shift in a completely different direction.
Shit. Damn. I mean, I could. Would a 1 in a million moment like that though have that drastic of a change on it though? Unless they continue to mess up as bad as they have, like with Tua, who got another concussion on Christmas. So in about a month's time, that's what, 3? Which
and that's the thing too, is like, we're isolated on this one freak occurrence, but the one thing that they kept talking about, because I don't know, I don't follow the Bills, but they were saying like years ago they had another player who during a play is like became permanently paralyzed, and I'm just like, shit like that happens all the time. So it's kind of like, I'm sure they're just gonna stick to the, it's just the risk of playing the game. But no, yeah, you can't just build a rule around not tackling the butt, because then what are you gonna do? It's just like, oh, you gotta tackle the legs, and then somebody's gonna bash their head and trip, and there's just no easy way around it.
And nobody's gonna watch professional flag football.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that anybody should say anything, but at the same time, I'm like, we have UFC. Does anybody really give a damn?
And actually, that thank you, Ian, for bringing up that point. how many hits are thrown, or how many punches are thrown, how many hits land in not just UFC, but boxing, where I would say it's almost as dangerous because it happened to Sylvester Stallone on the set of Rocky IV. He got punched in between his heartbeat by Dolph Lundgren and had to go to the hospital.
I will take this that same I will take the chance of taking a blow to the chest and have it running that gamble. I'll take that any day over Mike Tyson swinging at my dome.
Yep.
Yep. Any day.
You can either get tackled by 3 NFL players, or you can have Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield in their prime, and Ali in his prime punch you in the head. Which one are you taking? I'm taking the NFL play every time.
Yep. So it is what it is. I'm hopeful that everybody turns out okay. It seems like everybody's okay. Like I said, Jeremy Renner posted a photo. I just keep seeing that the football player's just still in critical condition, but I did see something maybe 20 minutes ago. Like, it's really the only positive thing I've seen, where all it said was his condition is improving. So,
okay,
all right. That's a slide in the right direction.
You still have a uphill battle there, Siphius, but you know, you got
you're off to the right step. Well, sir, main event, which I did not expect, honestly, until like yesterday. I was just sitting around the house yesterday, and then the announcement happened that we got a teaser of Evil Dead Rise, and it said new trailer tomorrow, and that's today.
Yes,
So we saw the full Red Band trailer for Evil Dead Rise, a movie that I knew was coming, but I kind of just I wasn't keeping tabs on it, so I had no idea that it was when it was happening. I just knew that it was. And it was like, bam, here you go, April. Get it on. And I'm like, oh shit. It hit me weird, the first one, which, everybody is I've seen so far has been reacting positively to this, and that's good. I'm glad. Because, that just does good things for horror. And, the franchise. It wasn't 100% what I personally was looking for, but personal taste aside, and upon watching the trailer a second time, it does look like a lot of fun. We were joking earlier before the show, and I'm like, they should have just called this Demons 2.
Because it's Demons 2.
Yeah.
And not just in what we saw from the trailer too. I would say beyond a shadow of a doubt that Demons 2 at the very least inspired it a little bit with some of the shots of the corridors and of we got the basement. The only thing we're missing. What are we missing in that basement, Ian? Or parking garage, sorry.
PhD gym instructor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we're missing. Except I don't know, what would it be in Evil Dead Rise, because it looks like a swanky.
It's just gonna be our heroine, Ashley or Ash. However, I didn't hear a name.
That sucks, because I was hoping we would get like PhD property manager or something.
Now to me at first, because before I watched it, I was expecting the high-rise aspects of it, and then when I watched the first trailer, I didn't see any of it. I'm like, oh shit, there's none of that in there. But upon a second viewing, I'm like, oh okay, that looks like that, and I'm like, oh okay, yeah, that's definitely. But there are going to be moments in a cabin. There are moments in the woods. Because at first I'm like, this looks Wait a minute. Wait a minute. No, I almost had it.
Did you have the same
Almost.
thought I just had right there? Because it hit me that maybe what if the high rise takes place inside the Necronomicon, but they are really out in the woods?
Well, I
So
was thinking that anything. So it doesn't appear to be any of the same characters, but how like in the original Evil Dead, and then there's Evil Dead 2, and then Evil Dead 2, they kind of have that beginning back telling kind of thing. And I was like, is all that wood stuff supposed to be like, this is what happened last time? And then we fast forward to the high rise stuff.
hmm.
But the none of the, there's kids in a family. It's not angry teenagers who have drug problems.
No.
So I
Huh.
don't. Like I said, it doesn't look like it's really. That's what I was getting to is that there were a lot of it, while cool looking. I was just I'm like this is I saw this in 2013. Um, I kind of wanted a little dark humor, a little ha ha. I wanted some fun, not just like holy shit. But that was just personal taste. Like I said, it doesn't need Bruce Campbell. I was like just give this woman a ha ha kind of thing, as long as it's not like dumb Valley Girl fucking style of humor. Make her a
Oh.
badass.
Yeah, don't
Make
do the House on Sorority Row
yeah,
level thing.
but um, it looks really fun though. Like in terms of crazy, like that cheese grater. Ooh.
I mean, they weren't afraid to show some things in the trailer, and that's what that makes me wonder. Did they follow a pattern from like the old Evil Deads and how they do their trailers? Because I don't recall if Evil Dead 2's trailer actually shows any of the dark humor. I think it actually presents it on the level as being horror. So that
uh,
that trailer though, with chainsaw, cheese grater, diamond drill,
I thought
what
it
else
looked
was
like
it?
a tattoo gun.
Or was it a tattoo gun? Whatever the hell it was, it looked sharp and it was close to an eye, and that's scary.
I didn't hear any one-liners in the trailer, so there wasn't any like it's going the route that the 2013 did, where it's sticking to the horror and not so much the humor, which is fine. But like I said, I'm like my only point is, and again, I'm not saying that we needed Bruce or anything, but he's the only examples I have. um, they did the originals and all of that, and then the 2013 one or whatever. But for Ash versus Evil Dead, they brought it back with the humor, like, and it worked. Like the combination of the ha ha's and the boom booms is yeah.
There's a fine balance for Evil Dead. It's not success. Well, it's still successful, I think, regardless. But there's a sweet spot of how much horror and how much humor you have to have in it for it to just be perfect.
But I do like the way it looks. We're gonna see how this plays, but I'm not a full on hater of New Line Cinema effects, but I I I can spot one when I see one. Let's just put it that way. I can tell when New Line. You don't tell me it's a New Line movie. Give me 15, 20 minutes, or at least one scene where something's going on. I'll tell you if it is or not.
Fair. And that's a shame too because I always feel like New Line got some of the cool stuff back in the day, but that is one thing that they kind of have every time. And I saw exactly what you were talking about too. Anytime there was a facial movement on the demon, got a little uncanny at times.
Yeah. But it looks like it has some potential not to be let down. But in terms of just like visuals, I hope it's not just I'm not saying that this needs like an Academy Award winning story, all right? It's Evil Dead. I get it. I don't want it. It's just heartbreaking to me, and I get nervous when I see it almost just I'm like, it's so dangerously close to just being reduced to like a loud stinger moment movie over and over again.
Oh, yeah, and you don't. No, I cannot stand that that is a direction that some movies have decided to take, thinking that it was actually a good idea. You know,
Yeah.
like I feel like if you if you're reusing that, it's like it's that weird period from the late 2000s where everything was a jump scare and not a suspense built jump scare, where like Exorcist 3, great example, because that one will get you every time because it's based on the suspense of the scene that you know something is supposed to happen anyway, rather than, all right, music guy, hit the note.
Yeah.
We gotta have the jump out and get you and really pay
Crank
bring the
everything
audience
up
into
to
it.
11, so it's loud boom.
Yeah, and not the
Oh,
fun
oh,
way
oh, my
Italians do
bad.
it.
You drop it down to minus one quiet, and then right as it then you slam it up to 11.
There you go. You have to have both there in order to make that work. He
Yeah.
he is, and as long as the studio didn't step in to try to override the producer, I'm I'm gonna remain hopeful with it because the Demons 2 connection enough is for me to go see it anyway. So
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I mean unless there's been some like behind the scenes drama that they've miraculously kept quiet, um I don't see why, especially a studio like New Line. I mean, the only note that you might get from them would be like, "Hey, don't go too crazy because you've seen our effects." And that's the only note that you
we're
might get.
we're trying to break even here. Damn it.
Yeah, yeah. But I think that 2013 one did reasonably well enough, and nowadays, like of course, do it to bring back Evil Dead, of course. That's a easy fucking check to make.
Yeah.
So, again, if do right, and like I said, personal desires aside, I mean, if it worked last time, fucking do it again. Sure, just make it a little bit more flashier, and that's fine.
Which I gotta give them props for taking it out of the woods. That is one thing I never expected because Evil Dead's always been a cabin in the woods movie. Even Army of Darkness, in a way, was a cabin in the woods movie because he ended up in the windmill, and
Yeah,
and even though it was only a small part of it, but that was more of a medieval adventure anyway. And then they brought us back for the reboot and or whatever they call it.
that little cabin in the fucking trailer for this one though, I'm like, that's some shit you see in The Vitch.
Yeah, I
I'm like, look at that little gingerbread house.
are we gonna get the crossover event that we did not expect out of that?
It's like it was weird because like you have all of this crazy shit, and then it like shows those few scenes of like all the wind chimes hanging, and you see the little tiny triangular cabin, and I'm like, for like just like 3 to 5 seconds, it's like A24 film, and then it goes right back out.
Maybe. No, no, no. There's no way A24 folks are involved on this one. I don't think Sam Raimi would ever do an A24 movie. Nah.
But it definitely looks worth seeing. Like I said, I had to once I brushed aside my personal desires, because like I said, I think it's just because I'm like this is something because we loved that Weird Al movie,
Yeah.
and we're like this is like bringing back like fucking Naked Gun and Airplane and Hot Shot. Like I'm not saying go that fucking silly with it. That would be too much. But to do like a horror with that kind like some I'm like that was one of my safe havens for maybe seeing something like that again. But
Yeah.
they keep focusing on mainly the horror aspect of it, which is fine. Not complaining. But I'm like I like the hee hee ha ha's, you know?
Would you say Evil Dead 2 was like 70-30 horror to comedy? Or maybe 60-40? Because I don't think it was split down the middle at all, because that movie got dark even when it was funny, like when he loses his mind in the cabin and everything starts laughing at him, that's a pretty significant chunk of the movie. And also, yeah, it's funny, but like we were talking about before the show, that's a moment where you're just like, damn, that's kind of scary. That that mounted deer head on the wall is laughing at him. Very animated.
Yeah, like I'm thinking of scenes like the deer head or when he's smashing the plates and flipping himself over, just going crazy. Like I want to see somebody go Looney Tunes and not know if it's real.
It's a really cartoon horror. Good call,
Yeah.
Sparrow. uh, yeah, okay. That's oh god. Well, we were watching something the other day, and it was talking about that, where if you presented the stuff that happens in Looney Tunes in a realistic light, depending on how you present it exactly, it's either going to be hilarious or it's going to be utterly horrific. Because I mean, those cartoons are like super violent and everything, and if you took the cartoon portion of it out and set it in a realistic setting, it would be terrifying. That should be what they try to do with it. Give us that uncomfortable line to cross where it's so horrific, it's absurd, and we laugh, but then you draw it back just enough to where you're like, oh no, maybe that's
that weird position where it's like when it's Pepe Le Pew, it's funny, but when it's Harvey Weinstein, not so funny.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's that is definitely one way to word it, and yeah, that's about where I'm at with it. Same thing. It's not quite Ted Bundy. It's more Bugs Bunny, I guess, because he's put some of the other characters through hell. Roadrunner inadvertently puts Wile E. Coyote through hell. There's all that kind of stuff. And Evil Dead is kind of, it is the Looney Tunes of the horror world, just because of how absurd it is from the get.
It is like all of the bad, horrible things that happen to cartoon characters happen to Ash. You even could compare the moments where the camera's in that POV going fast and forward as to like the Roadrunner running.
Yeah.
Like you could do all sorts of shit when Ash is flying around, spinning around outside, and then lands in that fucking bog. That's Bugs going down the hole.
Yeah. And as I'm sitting here too, we kind of did have that back in the day. We had the Three Stooges, which was hurting each other pretty much in there, but it was done in a cartoony way to where you were like, oh, he hit the shit out of his nose. He's probably fine because the music is telling me that he's fine.
Mm-hmm.
In Evil Dead 2, Ash is getting the plates broken over his head, and you're laughing, but the demonic hand is saying shit that you don't understand, and it's still kind of uncomfortable because of it. It's towing that line.
I think so far, and this is just based on the trailer now, because that's all we have to go off of. One thing that definitely did kind of bug me each time I watched it, and I'm hoping that it's not going to be like every 5 seconds and during the whole movie like it is in the trailer, but the sound effect of just like that guts and blood squish sound, and I'm like, that is the most cartoony sounding version of that. Like, and it like they just kept doing it, and I'm like, it was starting to annoy me. like when she rips the scalp off, you hear it, and then when it lands on the dock, you hear it, and it's just like they're squishing grapes and fruit and nastiness every time.
Yeah, they need the Foley guy that did Day of the Dead to do the guts Foley work, like when the zombie leans up off the table and all of his shit like hits the floor. Like that was a good sound because I think you could visualize it and it sounded about like what you expected it to. I think with that maybe they are going for a little bit of overkill with it to try to sell the gory nature of it because they didn't have to release a Red Band trailer for it, and
No.
they did. They wanted to
Now,
show off some stuff.
I did notice something, and it made me think of something, and I don't know. I'm gonna be interested to see how this whole scene happened. I only had like they only show 3 seconds of it in the trailer, but it looked like there was a scene where the mom, the one main one possessed, um, it looks like she swallows some glass or something, and you can see it like sticking out of her throat. I started thinking of the girl in Return of the Living Dead 3,
Oh yeah.
and I was just like, what if that is something that keeps on going? And I'm like, that'd be kind of cool. Maybe they were maybe a little homage to that.
Well, showing Yuzna a little bit of love. Yeah, yeah. That was a pretty gnarly effect. I mean, Jesus Christ. They're really going for the pointy objects in places they shouldn't be.
Who did the effects for 3?
I think it was Screaming Mad George, the guy that did Reanimator and Beyond or Bride of Reanimator. I think
Because
that's right.
like, and that was like what, 93, 94 when that came out, somewhere in there. And still to this day, like I think even like the last time we watched it, I was just like, man, that shit's still fucking gross looking to me. And I'm like, I just like, I'm like, why can't I understand using computers and but it's just like, I don't know, everything looks so shiny now to me, and I'm like, that stuff looked really fucking grotesque, and I'm like, that shit was fucking top of the line. And that was 94.
Yeah, 93.
93.
Officially released October 29th of 93. Might as well have been 94. Damn. Yeah.
Because I'm just
trimmed
thinking,
between 50 and 60 minutes to get the R rating. Now I want to see the 2.5 hour cut of Return of the Living Dead 3.
because I will never forget the criminal fucking gangster dude in the sewer with the long neck, the long spine neck.
Yeah.
That was just fucking gnarly.
I give Yuzna credit because all of his movies, he does body horror in a very particular way to make you uncomfortable. Society, definitely to make you uncomfortable and really sell the sell the absurd nature of the whole experience of his movies, I guess.
I kind of dig the way that they're portraying the Deadites, if that's what they're gonna go with. Hopefully that's what they call them in this, at least
I hope
once.
so.
But just I think the creepiest one that they showed was when like they looked in that kitchen or whatever, and there was that one that was just kind of perched up with his back to the camera, like, and he was on the sink. And I'm like, I like how they're like, and when she jumped up out of the bathtub and was like holding on to the ceiling and just kind of like moving out of the way and stuff. I dig the movement that they're giving them. I'm like, this actually, that does feel like an evolution from what they were originally. Because like that's what they said in the trailer, like the next evolution, and I'm like, I'm not seeing a whole lot of change. That, on the other hand, I think They did good in 2013, but like, cause like they had the one girl and she like had like the shoulder and the arm movement, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of cool. This seems a lot more like somebody had an idea.
And again, their idea was to make us uncomfortable because every time those bones crack, it just,
hmm
especially right now with me, I guess I'm a little bit tender about hearing things go crack. But uh, real quick, I made an error there. Screaming Mad George did not do Return of the Living Dead 3.
No.
Kevin Brennan, which is a pretty generic name, but he has Videodrome, Michael Jackson's Thriller, Night of the Demons, Howling 5, Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl.
Yeah, no
American
wonder.
Werewolf in
So
London.
the dude that did Thriller. No wonder. Okay. All
And he
right.
was on Creature Crew for Big Trouble in Little China. There we go. He has 11, or technically I guess it's like 20 credits, but and all of them are noticeable. I don't consider Howling 5 great, and the first Howling's pretty good, but yeah. Oh, and Passion of the Christ. That's a very weird combination there.
was the It was the one of the most uncomfortable theater going experiences I ever had.
I can believe that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was well, I'm still not really a subtitle guy. In some cases I can bear with it if I really feel like I should dedicate myself to the material. Um Back then, definitely not. Like, no, I'm not putting in any fucking effort. And then when the movie started going and I'm like, oh shit, they're not speaking English. Oh no. I mean, I understand that's a lazy American.
Well,
I get it, but still, I'm like, oh no. And it was just me and this girl I was dating at the time, and it was her idea. She wanted to go see it. I'm like, all right. And it was me and her sitting in the middle of the theater, and like two or three bus loads of like uh churchgoers, and they were all from black churches. Like, not that I had a problem with that, but that's just what it was. Like, me and her were the only two white people in there. So, and these were all people who were very serious about this movie.
yeah, yeah.
um, and so it was just awkward. And then I believe I've mentioned this before, but there's an unfortunate condition that I have, and the only other person that has this condition is our buddy Unfavored One, where me and him know each other so well where we can watch a movie without each other, and if something really fucked up happens, I can immediately imagine him laughing at it, which in turn makes me laugh. And I'm not laughing at what's on the screen. I'm laughing at the idea of him laughing at what's on the screen in my mind. And then when the infamous scene happens in Passion,
Oh God.
that's when the carnival kicked into gear. The girl that I'm with at the time is crying as much as everybody else in the theater, and I am trying to hold back the loudest chuckle in the history of laughs so as I do not get a million eyes turned back at me in like the most awkwardest way. It was brutal. Thankfully, awkwardness prevailed, and I did not laugh out loud.
I'm glad you did not become a deleted scene from the movie Joker.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
It was brutal.
Oh, God.
It was brutal. The only other time that really got me in trouble was when I went and saw Red Dragon, the wheelchair scene.
Wheelchairs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Eh, we like a good wheelchair kill.
I
Like
think
the last call.
I think my mom was with me, And I just started laughing. What the fuck is wrong with you?
The one in Manhunter is just as funny. I guess, you know, maybe it being Philip Seymour Hoffman, added to it just because of the personality there. I
It's
don't
just
know.
the fact that it was you go from it was a hard cut to outside of nothing and you're like what is happening that was so tense and then you just hear the wheels squeak before anything else and then it's just beautifully cut scene. Beautifully cut scene.
It's very jarring, and I mean, I got to admit, I kind of had a laugh at it as well. So, I don't think you're wrong. I think that's one of those unintentional funny moments in cinema.
You just it is what it is. You just got to hope that the people around you have a good sense of humor. I was not willing to gamble that during the Passion viewing though, but because I was willing safe bet that they would not have found it as humorous as I did. Um,
Probably not.
yeah, no. But anyway,
You took the safe route.
yeah, I took the safe route. I saw that they put out another trailer for that new M Night fucking movie, the cabin one in the woods. It's got Batista and little Ron Weasley.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's just
Hell,
called Cabin in the Woods.
oh, oh, that's right. I should have known. He never gets too crazy with the with the titles.
Well, it apparently, like I said, that there's hope because he didn't write this one. He's making the movie.
Oh.
So, not to say that he's a bad writer. It's just, it's 50-50 with him. It depends on how crazy he wants to be that day.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe if he takes someone else's writing and directs it, and then writes his own at the same time, he has enough time to edit it and realize, oh wait, I need to tighten this up. Maybe that's the secret, and we'll just start having successful M Night Shyamalan movies henceforth. Now that they've got it down.
but when the first trailer came out a couple months ago, I really liked it. It looked really interesting. Um, I think that might be the key. Is just save your. I'm not saying if you really want to write something, fucking do it. Who am I to say don't? But like if your goal is for success, um, maybe the best route is him taking stuff that other people wrote and then doing it his way. I don't know. I gotta put up his filmography and see what he wrote and didn't write and fucking do the math. But this looks promising. Like, and apparently, now I don't know anything about the book, but everybody who apparently is a fan of this book, say that it's like really fucking good and really fucking crazy what happens. So, uh, we shall see. But yeah, no, Batista looking like a badass. He was talking about, he was saying how he wanted to do a little bit more serious, dramatic stuff, because Guardians 3 is going to be his last, like he's done with that shit. And then I know he did fucking you mentioned it. He was in the second Knives Out or whatever.
Oh, yeah, he was in Second Knives Out and he was good in that.
Um but in terms of like serious and dramatic and shit, yeah, this counts. And he looks for whatever it is that's gonna go on, but just the premise that the trailer sets forth, I'm like, this is he's a good choice for this character, or at least the type that I'm seeing of this character, where I'm like, okay, this is a guy who's, he's a very learned, studied person in whatever it is that's going on. So he's not dumb,
Yeah.
because you very easily you make the big guy a dumb guy, but he's not that. But he's got the glasses. But he's intimidating because he's fucking Batista.
He's Batista. He will Batista bomb you out of nowhere. Yes.
Yeah. So it him playing this, doomed messenger kind of character, and the way that he's, and having to, hold people down and force them to make a terrible decision. I'm like, all right, I'm with. And fucking Ron Weasley, he looks like he got Batista bombed a few times and he's been crying.
Makes sense. I hope he can channel whatever he was channeling when he did Blade Runner 2049, because his acting in that opening scene of the movie, I was like, that's the moment. That's the moment that makes him different than The Rock, that makes him different than John Cena, that makes him different than all the wrestlers who crossed over to make movies. That puts him at the same playing field that Roddy Piper was at. If Roddy Piper had gotten into the right roles, especially after They Live, he could have done a lot of good work too, and you can tell that he has the acting chops for it too, especially playing a parodied version of himself on It's Always Sunny. And even though that's a comedic role, he does it very, very well. So Batista, I hope he knocks it out of the park, because I want to see more of his stuff, especially after Knives Out, Glass Onion.
It's funny. It really feels like, now whether or not they're getting the grade A material is up for debate. That's personal preference and viewing. But in terms of like the directions that they're all going, like, I like that John Cena's kind of, he's the goofy guy, he's the goofy muscle guy. Peacekeeper is fucking amazing.
Yes. Yes.
So, I like that he's doing that. I understand, like, I think personally Batista was fucking great as Drax. But I understand him also wanting to do some serious stuff. If this trailer I've seen is any indicator, then we're gonna see some interesting shit from him in the future. Because I like what I'm seeing. And The Rock, whether or not you like the movies he's done, some I like, some I don't, but that had really nothing to do with him. He's great regardless, but he is doing movies, like the kind of movies he does, like, that's the shit you expect The Rock to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's not doing, like, I wouldn't like to see him doing the shit John Cena's doing. I don't want to see him as that goofy, funny guy. Like, it would be weird, I don't know. He has moments of sincerity and humanity in some of the movies, but being what I saw Batista doing in just that trailer for Cabin in the Woods, I'm like, I don't know if The Rock can do that.
The Rock is, without putting him in that same category, because I think there was a different edge and a different grit to it back then. Like, even shit, the guy that plays as Apollo Creed.
Oh, fucking shit.
Damn it.
Jordan.
No. The dad, not.
Oh, okay. You're talking about OG.
Carl Weathers, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Because, Carl Weathers is also in there. Danny Glover is technically in there too, because of like Predator 2 and Lethal Weapon and all of that. But The Rock is the 80s action star at a time where the 80s action movies are not R-rated. He's doing PG-13 blockbusters, and people are going to see it because The Rock's in it. So he's a action star in that sense, whereas John Cena is the goofy guy who also does the action stuff, but he's the he can do the humor a little bit better, kind of like Sylvester Stallone, I guess, in like Demolition Man. And then you have Batista, who I think is kind of in between there, where he can do the serious roles and bounce out of it and not get fully typecast like Schwarzenegger or any of them did whenever they broke onto the scene.
I'll have to see. I haven't checked the numbers in a while, but the last I checked, which was if I'm not mistaken, it was this, but just before Black Adam hit HBO Max, I think the other movie that he did, Rampage, I think Rampage made more money than Black Adam did.
The game based on the arcade game, or the movie based off of the arcade game. Wow.
Like, I don't know. I still have not watched Rampage. Not because I hate the idea of it. I mean, if you're gonna do a video game movie or monster thing like that, and it's not Godzilla or King Kong, sure,
Yeah.
why not? But I I just didn't know how to feel about it. I'm like, yeah, that's the thing.
That's a very weird project for somebody to take up as a live action movie. That animated movie, that probably would have been easy sell. But I remember when they announced it, and I was like, how the hell are you gonna do a Rampage movie with The Rock? Is the like it didn't make any sense to me.
It was a weird time because if I'm not now, correct me if I'm wrong, because there was another movie that he did around the same time, I believe, and I think it was the back-to-back combo of seeing these two trailers that kind of like weirded me out for a minute. Didn't he do that skyscraper movie, which was like supposed to be like a more extreme Die Hard? But on top of that, didn't he not have legs? Like it was like he was running on those like crook blade things, like that's what his character was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
And I'm just like, I'm like, this is taking the idea of Die Hard to an extreme where I'm like, instead of just walking on glass, they're like, just cut off his fucking legs. He doesn't have them from the start.
It's a genius idea. Why did we not? Yeah, God, that was the same year. Skyscraper and Rampage were the same year.
Yeah, so seeing those two trailers just did something to my brain where like I blacked it out.
Oh, yeah, I can see why. Holy shit! And it's $304 million at the box office against $129 million budget. So he legitimately is the '80s action star
Yeah.
that's doing big budget exploitation movies that just are there to turn a profit. What?
I think he's aware of that too, and he's like, I think that's why shit got weird for him when he was like arguing numbers about Black Adam because he like is self-aware that that's what he was doing and he wants to be taken more serious because he's like, no, I'm actually an actor, damn it. He's like, he's
Yeah,
trying so hard to not be that.
but sometimes you got to steer into it in order to get out of it because that's what people thought Batista was going to do when he was the henchman in the
Arnold
Bond
became
movie.
governor.
Yeah, I wasn't even gonna go there. I was gonna go smaller scale than that, just because. But that's an even better call. He became governor. Sylvester Stallone actually did get to stretch his acting chops out in the '90s a lot with a varied, palette of things. So it's not out of the realm of possibility to do it, but you can't argue with the studio over stuff like that because that's a pretty good way to get buried. And since he worked for WWE, he should know what buried means because people got buried all the time and still do to this
Sometimes alive.
day. That too, yeah. So I wouldn't argue over the success of a movie either because just because the movie is successful doesn't mean that it's successful enough to get a sequel. Yeah, you can get $300 million against a $129 million budget, but if people go and see the movie because it's The Rock and it's bad, and they say, all right, we're going to make a sequel to that now, and we're going to try to fix the things, people aren't really going to trust it because they're like, yeah, I wasted my money on the first one. I'll wait till it goes to streaming or I can rent it, and then I'll do that and not go out and get your, box office opening weekend ticket sales out of it. That's dangerous to do that and think that it's going to work too. So I'm not saying that he shouldn't be pissed either, but you got to trust the process sometimes on that.
I was just thinking about something in my head, and I'm trying to think of what's one of the best things I've seen him do. And I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say it was those fucking Jumanji movies. Only because, A, they were good, but that was something that I did not see coming. I mean, like, them bringing it back, anybody could have saw that coming. But the fact that, like, I heard they were doing Jumanji again and that The Rock was in it, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be a piece of shit. And like, and I'm like, this is gonna be awful. And then I watched it, and I'm like, you know what? That was actually really fucking good. And I'm thinking about his character in there, and I'm like, was it that I liked The Rock's performance, or it was the fact that like the way that that story goes? I'm like, it's that scrawny fucking kid, really. So I'm like, am I really a fan of that character? But that is just using The Rock as an avatar, or I'm like, did Rock actually do a good job? And I'm like, I don't know how to count this one.
Little of column A, little of column B, and just take the cheap way out on it because I mean I could see that from it. I didn't watch the Jumanji movies, but everybody seems to like them. So
Oh, they're great. They're really funny. Kevin Hart's good. Uh, Jack Black was set up to be the most annoying, but kind of stole the show.
huh.
At least in the first one, because like I said, they all you see them all before they get sucked into the game, and they're like just these kids, and then when they're in the game, that's when they're The Rock or Kevin Hart or fucking Jack Black. Um, the person who becomes Jack Black is like the Valley Girl. So it's Jack Black acting like a Valley Girl, which is
In the
set
most
up.
Jack Black role ever.
Yeah, so it's set up. You're like, oh, this is gonna be super annoying, but it's like he actually made that shit really fucking funny.
Okay. So there's a you don't want to he don't want to get typecast, but he actually has moments where he can branch out and I think he did the PG in the PG-13 movies early on, and now he's not afraid to just stick to PG-13R, which is good. I mean, I think he if that's what he wants to do. But yeah, he's in his
Well,
own category.
I don't see them making a Saving Silverman type movie these days anymore.
No, probably not. That's
It's
fun
just
movie, though.
there's just like that whole like from 2000 to 2003, 2004, like that whole era of comedy movies. Could not make a single one of them. Maybe Can't Hardly Wait. You have to cut a few scenes.
No, yeah, they would have to be. They'd have to be edited a little bit
A little bit,
to,
a
to,
little
to,
bit.
to be remade today, and that's. I think we've talked about that before. Those are good testaments to where we were at in terms of a lot of things. Whenever you go back and watch some of those movies, especially from late '90s, where we were on the edge a lot, and then you have the post 9/11 that kind of changed everything. Still,
I think about it often, and I just don't get how, like, I remember in high school, like I'll use just because they're the best examples of the time, but like Marilyn Manson and Eminem, and like there was all this like censorship battles and blah 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 kind of shit, and it was really annoying and it was really stupid. But then we got past it and everybody evolved and everything was better for it. Some say music got a little bit better. Not talking about the mainstream, but you were there. You know what I'm getting at?
yeah.
Like we went forward. Now I'm like, oh fuck, here we are again. Like, how did we go from that, go forward, just to go way back?
Damn. That's a good point because I thought we'd already fought that battle.
I know, right? Like it's and it's way more aggressive. Like it's not just like it's not just like moms bitching about shit, like uptight, fucking, Sunday school moms. It's, you know, and they're not just going after the evil satanic music. It's everything now. It's just like, oh, you said something that offended me. Let's destroy your career and your livelihood.
Seems like we always go back to James Gunn somehow on this show.
I know, right? That's why I'm just like I so badly like I'm like, please just let everything work out and just Just show him. You show him, Gunn. And I, you know, and I don't know how, but the fact that I don't know why, but the fact that his last name it being Gunn just makes it a little bit better for me for some reason.
Very. I won't be surprised if the first movie he does turns out to be a western. Just to, little wink and a nod to us all.
Oh. Oh. But no, I would say though that uh yes. Yes.
And he's bringing the firepower to the DCU.
Um things with I don't want to get too excited, but I really kind of feel like in terms of new movies, the horror genre the last couple years has been kind of I don't want to use the word renaissance or anything like that. That's a little but things have been kind of on the up and up a little bit. I'm not saying they've been perfect.
Right.
They've not been like ideal or anything, but they've been a lot better than what it's been a lot better than what we're used to. Let's just put it that way. Um a lot more winners, a lot more good artistic endeavors for better or worse, for the most part, kind of being accepted for what they are, you know. So that do you think that they're do you think a lot's riding on this Evil Dead movie? Not for the franchise itself, but for the genre itself. Or even if this is not like, I mean, I'm not saying that if this flops, then everybody's gonna be like, well, fuck horror in general or anything like that. But
They could.
would it fuck up the streak? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Would it be bad juju?
Yeah. If I'll put it to you this way, you have two franchise entries coming in 2023. You have Scream 6 and you have Evil Dead Rise.
Mm-hmm.
One of those has to succeed. If both of them succeed, that's a knock in the right direction. We're probably gonna that renaissance that you are avoiding saying could be right around the corner at that point, and we might start getting more well thought out, maybe retreads. We might be getting some retreads, but you know what? If the retread is good and there's a reason for it, like we said, you remake movies that were limited by the potential at the time and not movies that were good as they were and good as they ever will be, like Jaws, like we talked about last time. You don't want to do that. But if both of them fail, it's probably not good because those are long-running franchises and you really don't want to hurt the momentum that they had with the last entries. Even though Evil Dead's last entry was in 2013, people still talk about it.
I would say that I was surprised that Halloween Ends didn't kind of suck the wind out of everything, but I think that movie was divisive enough to keep people talking. So whether it was positive or negative, the interest never left.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's an interesting examination in and of itself, which we did. So I'm surprised that didn't damage anything. You would have thought it would have happened then, but so we got this, and then we've got, I still haven't really seen any updates on our Crystal Lake series.
Hopefully we'll get some info on that soon. Even back to your Halloween Ends comment though, too. 105 million against 33. So, divisive and talking did wonders for it. And like we said in our long ass discussion, it's the Halloween 3 of the reboot franchise, and it even told us that from the beginning. So it'll probably get its resurgence in about 10 years, maybe 5, and who knows?
I watched the Halloween 3 4K. That was good times. It's good times.
Isn't it amazing how cleaned up it is on that disc?
You can see Tom Atkins' ass perfectly.
Be careful, kids. Found a whole Tom Atkins ass in my Reese's cup.
um. So hopefully things. I don't really know a whole lot else that's coming out in terms of straight up horror. Um. I know that I heard that Netflix was being Netflix again, and they canceled that. What was it, 1889 series after the first season, which was kind of like a same people did Dark for them, which was like some German series horror series or something like that that did really well for them.
Oh yeah.
Uh, and I'm thinking they're being. You know what we need? All right, I'm sitting here thinking. I'm not. If I want a better quality show and budget, I'm not gonna go to Netflix. But depends on how much faith I can sell them on.
Sure.
Uh, Even if you only did one season, I keep every other year I hear rumblings that somebody's gonna do this, but it never fucking happens. With as much money as that fucking Fast and Furious shit has made, and then everybody loves the fucking Mad Max shit. Where the fuck is my Twisted Metal show? All right,
Oh, that's a
fucking.
damn good point.
You're getting the best of both worlds.
Jesus, we'll probably get a Vigilante 8 show before the Twisted Metal show comes
Oh,
out at the
Jesus
rate things
Christ.
are going. I forgot Smojo was in it too. Yeah,
dig
where
up
are we with it?
dig up Alice Cooper, make him fucking Calypso. As
Uh,
long as you're not going
it's
to
a,
commit to making Rob Zombie a character like he was in the fourth one, you could make Rob Zombie Calypso. I don't give a fuck.
that
He
that
would
works
do it.
too.
That's the thing. That's something he would want to do. You're like, I only have to do that. All right, sure.
Easy sell. Yep.
Easy sell.
Filming wrapped in August 27th, so 2023. We just get probably third quarter. We just got to hold off. We're gonna get our because I completely bricked on it while you were talking, and then right as you were about to say Twisted Metal, I was like, oh, we have a Twisted Metal show coming, and then yeah, it's 2023. We're gonna get it. I'm just very nervous about making the show, but then I saw Will Arnett's producing it, so it's probably gonna be fine.
Interesting. I'm
He's the
trying to
first
think.
listed executive producer, actually.
I'm trying to think. Now this is just complete. Like they would never do something like. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they would, but I don't know why. But for some reason, I'm like, I would like to see Kane Hodder's Sweet Tooth.
Yeah.
That's just throwing that out there. Maybe even well, I mean, he'd have to be a buffed up Mr. Grimm, but which is just basically a Ghost Rider ripoff. I don't know. They'd probably have to switch up some shit for that one. That's a little too on the nose.
That's
So,
the guy in the tire, right?
the motorcycle guy that's just a flaming skull with the leather jacket.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that might be a little too. But
He looks exactly like Ghost Rider. The only thing he's missing is the chains. They just gave him machine guns instead of chains. And he never gets off the bike.
shit. Now I want to go back and play some damn Twisted Metal. This has got me hyped up for actually a franchise I didn't really play beyond the first one. Did you play all of them?
I played 1, 2, 3, 4. I never played Black. A lot of people said that one's really, really good. I've just not had access to it. I do now. I just haven't started it. Um, I wanted to play the newer one that they did, but it was like for PS3, and it's like anything that was made for PS3 is always a pain in the ass to fucking play.
Yeah.
Um, but a lot, but the original series, all of the older stuff, yes, I played all of them numerous times, numerous times. That was might be one of the first PS1 games I ever played at a. It was on a demo disc on a display PlayStation at Sears.
That's the disc that also had Siphon Filter
Yep,
and Metal Gear, I think.
yep, and Tekken 2.
Yep.
Yep.
That was a good. That was a good demo disc. That was solid.
That was the best one.
Wait,
Didn't it have
Ape
Jet
Escape?
Moto?
I think it had Jet Moto too, and I think it had Ape Escape. Wow. Well, that just brought me back to a different time. You mute.
I don't remember if it was the same disc or not, but I think it also might have had Brave Fencer Mushi or something like that on it.
Holy shit! If it did, that's the best demo disc.
Yeah. Anyway. But that's all I got, man. That's all I got for today. But I really hope that Evil Dead I hope Evil Dead is palatable. It looks like it will be. I'm probably making a big stink out of nothing. There's enough Demons 2 references in it that I should be fucking ecstatic.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go into it with the mindset that it's an Evil Dead 2 or a Demons 2 remake. The same way I can go into Halloween Ends as it being a Christine remake, and I'm gonna be happy either way, and
Yeah.
life will be good. The only thing we won't get probably in is a demon coming out of a TV, and it looks super damn cool.
I bet you if I could get a Sam Raimi version of that in this, then all bets are off. I'll say that this is best movie of the year already. That I would like to see that. Like it that would solidify to me that like the true inspiration is Demons 2, obviously. But I mean you kind of have to like if you're doing something in an apartment building, like your options are limited.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be something with the TV. At the very least, it'll be reflections and mirrors.
Oh, I can see that going a very dark place. Okay, I'm back in.
Yeah.
I'm sold. All right. So if
What
you
was
got
it?
that, and maybe we will like the Evil Dead reboot. We'll get a Bruce cameo. I'm fine.
Okay. Here. Okay. If you don't do the TV, this is what I want then. I will sacrifice the TV moment if Bruce's cameo, it doesn't, which it does not have to be Ash, but just Bruce in general. Let him be the one with the little kid that shows up with the Jeep and the guns at the end.
Give me some bullets, baby.
Give
It's like it's just Ash's one-liners have been recut.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Fine with that. Because
I-
I doubt we're going to get the Demons 2 happy ending out of this. I can already tell that this is going some very, very dark places.
I'm trying to think. Damn. Well, yeah, I'm just gonna have to put it on. If you're in the Discord, then expect in the next day or so, I'm gonna put on the 2013 one because I need to rewatch that one. Like I said, it gets better each time. All I can really remember is the part towards the end when it's raining the blood. That's all I really remember.
Oh, yeah. That's good.
Oh, and then the blonde hippie guy that looked like he was an X.
He looks like the dude from Cannibal Holocaust and the guy from X.
Yeah, he does
Combined
actually.
together.
Yeah. Oh, sir. Here I am ready to go. how could I possibly forget? We didn't get to do a show last week, sir. Would you? Speaking of Cannibal Holocaust, would you like to do the honors, sir?
Yeah, that's kind of a downer to start the year on, but we lost Ruggiero Deodato on December 29th. Um, I think everybody in the exploitation realm, Eli Roth, Don May, all of them, have all kind of had good things to say. Claudio Simonetti, I think, actually posted something too because he did the soundtrack on Body Count and Cut and Run. Yeah, I think he was 83 years old. And he was our first controversial movie month that we ever did when we did we culminated with the Cannibal Holocaust show way back when.
I will. That's kind of one of the things when I saw that, because I'm like, if I have to go with, if somebody goes, what are your earliest memories of Gabe? And I'm like, well, he was always a defender, Cannibal Holocaust. staunch defender.
To this day, is still a defender on it. I got a little heated in a comment section of Deodato. Put it on the fucking tombstone.
Yep.
I got I deleted it and tried to be the bigger person, but somebody tried to start some shit in one of the in memorandums. I think it was on Eli Roth's post. So I'm surprised it didn't get deleted about Deodato and the animal killings and all of that. And which I get, but I'm not gonna say there's no use beating a dead horse because that seems very inappropriate right now. But that's kind of where I'm at with it. The dude just died, so you know. He's apologized for the movie about 1,000 times, but also to completely discount the movie that actually had a good message and a good plot behind all of the horrific things. That's kind of a shitty thing to do. So, this past year we discovered Body Count as well, which turned out to be a really good slasher. And in the wake of his death, Diabolique DVD, one of the distributors I get some of my movies from, announced that Cauldron may be restoring it. So it's been on a list to be restored. So that DVD I just bought from a Spanish distributor, it's probably never going to get opened, but they're talking about redoing some of his movies, and I hope that Body Count is one of them. If it's Phantom of Death that I just ordered with Udwig Finnick, our Last Call Beauty. If it's that, I'll take it. Either way, yeah, uncut. It's Cauldron. They're not gonna. They will not put out anything cut. So we're blessed in that regard. So we're hopefully we'll get that, and we can maybe do a maybe we can 1 month do a couple of oddball Deodato movies or something to review, like Washing Machine, and yes, he has a slasher movie called The Washing Machine, and one of the other odd ones, because I think we've done the cannibal genre a little bit too much, and we'll try to focus on something else. But that was a bit of a downer. Ian, I'm glad your first notion of me will always be to be a defender of Cannibal Holocaust. The joke that was supposed to remain a joke until we finally decided to do a show about it. But we made a lot of good memories over that movie, though. I think as a community we did too, because that was probably the most open and honest conversation I think we've ever had about the sanctity of film and does it have a right to exist or not. And that was one of the best moments of the first season I think we ever did, just because the conversation that we all had about it, and the conversations after the fact, and the fact that we can bring it up with such, I don't want to say joy, but we can bring it up and have a laugh about some of it as well, I think is great. And to have a controversial movie like that bring people together, I think is sort of the ultimate irony of the whole thing.
time I think about that dumb surviving bitch from Cannibal Ferox, I just get so infuriated.
That's coming out on 4K too, I think.
Hmm.
So
I was so happy yet angry at the same time when I saw that From Beyond
oh yeah.
that they're going to be doing, because I'm just like, I finally decided on it. Like, I'm just going to focus on the John Carpenter stuff for him right now. And I'm like, all right, all right, all right. It'll be a joint effort of John Carpenter and Barbara Crampton films.
You've got a king and a queen there.
Yeah, yeah,
You,
yeah.
easy. I,
Easy.
and one day, Ian, I hope that we can both afford to just do the Vinegar Syndrome subscription for $980 and then just get all of the stuff during the
Yeah.
year and really pad the collection that way. But maybe one day down the line. But I'm still kind of in awe that we didn't even make it out of 2022 without having an in memorandum that did not make the big news cycles either. That made me a little bit sad too, because you can't just attribute Deodato to Cannibal Holocaust, because Django, when we did our Western Day, he was second unit director on there for Carbucci. So some of the best shots of the movie were probably done under his watchful eye. So Deodato, you will be missed. Lindsay, since you brought up Cannibal Ferox, you will also be missed, but that bitch that survived will not be. Since, as we harped on during the show, she probably at the end of the day was the one who deserved to die the most after completely selling everybody out.
The only way that they could have made her worse in my eyes is if at the end, because of like what she had to go through and survive, is that she was in a wheelchair.
Somebody pushed her out of the high rise.
I for some reason I equate her with a annoyance level of wheelchair guy from the first Texas Chainsaw.
If we do a retread on Ferox, we're gonna have to have a full breakdown of that, because I kind of agree. It was her damn thesis that got everybody killed. Damn it.
So you could graduate.
Hey, let's go to this partially uninhabited part of the jungle where there are rumors that they are not the most friendliest of people. What could possibly go wrong?
But anyway, I think that's my throat's about to fucking give out.
Yeah.
We, like I said, in the next day or so, I'll throw on Evil Dead 2013 just because I need to rewatch it anyway. Once the sickness is fully out, Pilgrimage of Retro will commence again. Finally, I'm gonna get off my lazy ass and actually fucking do this. I got everything all set up. Everything's ready to go. I just need to be able to speak for longer periods of time. But so that'll be coming in the coming days as well.
Might even get a game stream back from this side of the table as well. Who knows?
I don't really have a dedicated schedule, but I'm gonna try to at least do Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Like, I don't want to stream the same day that we do our shows.
No, that's just a headache anyway.
Yeah, but I'll probably, because I have to pick up my daughter now from school as well, so I'll probably at the earliest start at like 5:15 p.m. when I do go for a couple hours each time. I know I started playing Kabuki Quantum Thingamabobber game. It's pretty fighter. Kabuki Quantum Fighter. That's what it is. Yes. So I got to finish that. So that's what I'm getting back to. And then after that, guy's the limit.
What's your first game back gonna be?
Kabuki Quantum Fighter.
Kabuki Quantum. Okay. make sure I heard you correct there, because I'm not so good on some of these retro titles, and especially ones I've never heard of. And congratulations, never heard of that one. So
There's a crazy or Michael Jackson. Well, there is a crazy Michael Jackson game, but
Moonwalker.
yeah, I want to. There's this Michael Jordan basketball game. It's not like a basketball game, like you're not on a court. It's like it could play totally different from this, but just based on what I've seen, take basketball elements and you play as Michael Jordan, but it's like Donkey Kong Country.
What?
Yeah. It's like Michael
What?
Jordan's like Big East something or whatever. I forget what it's called, but like it's a platforming game and you play as Michael Jordan, but there's like in order to do stuff you gotta like dunk the ball. It's weird.
That boy ain't right. I tell
I
you
know,
what.
right? It looks pretty
God.
interesting.
I'm interested in a Donkey Kong-esque platformer with Michael Jordan slam dunking basketballs. That just sounds fantastic. That sounds like NBA Jam on acid, and I'm
Right.
okay with it.
So, we got all that looking to look forward to. You got anything else, sir?
Yeah, Friday the 13th, our first one of the year,
Of
because we
course.
have two.
I just realized the other day that was this month.
Well, unfortunately for my PTO, I did not get the second one off in October, but I'm gonna work on that. But we do have something planned for Friday the 13th. I don't think it's going to be Jason movies, though. I think we might be doing something special for that. And that will be next week. And as far as stuff to show in the Discord, too, you've got Evil Dead. I've got a couple of things that might be coming in, and I might do surprise mail day random draw and just throw something on out of the mail day bag. And we're getting Tubi set up to where we can stream as well. And there's a lot of good stuff out there as well. So more to come on that, more to come on the movie reviews as well.
On Sundays, I might try to keep regularly, maybe like just from like noon to 6 p.m., just like have whatever they got on Shutter on, just random shit.
Yeah.
I like that. It's just kind of like, if you're around on a Sunday, got nothing to do, just want to chill, have a smoky afternoon, it's on there for anybody.
I'll be over at the mini bar making cocktails for everybody, as we do. Yeah, I like the sound of that. Slashix they actually just rolled over their playlist, so we've got new stuff coming in, and also they put the Forgotten Giallo collection on there, and I'm very interested to watch some of that stuff. They got it all on there with this last update. Near Dark's back on there if you missed it during the Horror Fest, so get that watch in. Also, Sparrow, no need to apologize ever for anything there. We're good. I'm Ian, thankful we got to a new year mostly unscathed, and we've got a lot of good shit planned, pal.
Yes.
Also, wait, did we ever make a decision on Saturday morning cartoons?
I think that we were for it. I don't know if we got much further in planning other than that.
we'll have to plan a little bit further on it, because I'm down to watch some Batman the Animated Series and eat some Lucky Charms on a Saturday morning. That sounds good to me.
I'm gonna have to. I know that right now there's a bunch of animation properties flip-flopping streaming services right now. So once I see where everything lands, I mean, I pretty much have access to all of the services anyway. But once I see where everything lands, I can try to pinpoint some things.
Awesome. And also, I'm thinking about starting to. I want to redo I liked when we were doing the X-Files on Fridays, like they originally played on Fridays. We'll have to figure out something with that because I want to do that and Unsolved Mysteries, like bedtime. We'll call it bedtime nightmares, where we watch X-Files and the Unsolved Mysteries right before bed. It'll be great. Everybody will sleep well.
There's a there there's a great show that I just stumbled upon, and it might also it's part of it goes hand in hand because I was telling you earlier I've been listening to a lot of police scanner shit. Um, I found it on it's on it. I found it while looking at the Peacock. But there's a show on there. There's 2 seasons. It's called 911 Crisis Center, and it's like you're inside the dispatch office, like like with them while they're taking the calls. So you're not really seeing the action that's going on, but you're
Sure.
seeing them take the call. You're listening to the call, and you're also listening to them on the radio with the cops. So like they're waiting to hear the results just as the audience is. But it's good. It's entertaining, and I'll tell you, it brought me back to my Rescue 911 days, even though it's completely different. Like, cause that was reenactments of the shit, but
With Shatner.
yeah, with Shatner, yeah.
Okay, hell yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I do have one more thing too, because I forgot about it. On Netflix, there is a spaghetti western talk show with Quentin Tarantino and Ruggero Deodato that they filmed in 2017, I think it was. So we might watch that at some point too, because I think that will be good, especially since Spaghetti Western Sunday was one of the most fun events that we did. We got to see some of the off the beaten track movies during that. So, yeah,
A lot of stuff going on. So yeah, all right. We got some shit to roll with. All right, awesome
we do.
work. All right. Well, that's about all I got then. We will see you all next week. Like I said, if you're not in the Discord, get at us and we'll get you in there. And so we're gonna pay attention to it because we're gonna be watching some shit here in the next day or so.
Yeah. And maybe having nightmares to some unsolved mysteries. Who knows?
All right. Thanks for being here, Sparrow. Thanks to everybody else for being here. I'm Punk Rock Ian. This is Gabe.
I'm Gabe.
And we'll see you next time.